GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Milky Mist Premium Ice Cream.
Back in the day, there were many judgments and labels attached to you as well, right?
Fortunately, we didn't have social media. I didn't hear them.
I
So
swear.
I'm honestly barely ever read them. And you looked at a cover, saw if there was anything very interesting, who was sleeping with whom, and that was it. So, like Kriti is asking me that, do you go home and do you discuss the films with Ajay? What does he say about it? And I was like, no, we don't discuss movies. If I want to do a film, I will do a film because I want to do the film or I don't want to do the film. I may tell him afterwards, I've decided to do this film.
When you speak about Ajay sir in that, how has he reacted to you telling him that you're playing a cop?
He's like, again. Don't wash our dirty linen in public, please.
There was so much that my mom couldn't do in her life, what she wanted to learn certain things, or she was the first woman in her family to start working and earning a paycheck. For example, on many sets I've seen that the first AD, who usually is a male, a guy, at times can be, the responsibility is such that you can be rude, or you can be loud, or you can, just put down someone else, or just be like rude to someone, which I feel I've always observed. So for me, it was very important कि ये नहीं होना चाहिए.
She came and we started the narration, and then she took out her knitting needles, and I was like, I don't know, like if she's getting bored or am I supposed to stop or whatever. She said, continue. It helps me focus, concentrate.
It is becoming more and more difficult to be authentic and to be real. On the one hand, they celebrate it every time you say something honest on social media, and at the same time, if you're having a bad day and you tell somebody to move out of the way, they're like, oh my God, it's gone viral, and she's being rude, she's being mean, she's being this, she's being that.
I've always said this, that I have been brought up by strong women around me. And possibly that's why I have a lot of them within me. I remember this conversation with Kajol ma'am when I was working for a newspaper, and I had asked her, what is the difference that you see from then and today? And she had said that there were very few women on sets. Today that has changed, and today I'm sitting in company of 3 amazing, ferociously beautiful and talented women who have made Do Patti what it is. Thank you guys for joining, Kajol ma'am, Kriti and Kanika.
Ferociously beautiful.
Yeah, because you've seen your trailer. Have you seen your trailer? I loved it. Listen, when the Netflix announcement happened with the teaser. Okay, yeah. I told you that I think that was my most favorite teaser of them all, and I'm saying it out aloud here. Everybody in Netflix knows it. So when the trailer came out, I loved it. I'll start off with you. Are you happy with the amount of representation that women are getting in different forms of art and filmmaking today?
Absolutely. More than happy, I'm very, very satisfied to see more women around me. Now it's not a set that comprises only of men. The percentage has come up to 25%. But 25% is huge in comparison to a time where, me and my hairdresser would be the only 2 women on set. So I think we are definitely on our way there. And it's wonderful that today there was a stage that had more women on it than men.
Absolutely. How does it feel to be female producers? If you look at the average number of actors who have turned producers from our generation, it's mostly been women. If you look at Deepika, there's Sonakshi, then there is Alia, everybody, Taapsee, now Kriti, Priyanka Chopra. All of them
men are earning enough anyways.
But what do you feel about being women and running the show? Does it give you a different kind of leverage and power somehow?
Absolutely.
I think it
does.
gives you a chance.
Yeah, it gives you
a chance to
it gives you an opportunity
to say what you want to say. It may not be the same as what a male counterpart might want to say. And plus, I think Kanika, being a woman, has written a film about not only women. I promise you there are men in the film. Some very good-looking men as well, I would say. Yeah. So it is about women, but it's about being able to show her idea of women as well out loud. So I think women being producers is somewhere down the line them taking control of their destiny, of what they want to have a say in.
Yeah.
Also,
Very
how they want to
nicely
show
put.
women in films in
Absolutely.
general,
Yeah.
right? Because women in films, I mean, I feel like things have changed a lot now. There was a time when the meteor kind of roles, or they were all seen in a similar light. I feel like even going beyond just male and female and getting into the character and how the characters can be flawed, and they are flawed, like
Yeah.
how all human beings
Flawsome.
are. Yeah, flawsome. All right.
That's a great word.
Because I was going to come to that your
Yeah.
characters in every film that you've written, they are actually so flawed. Like, women come with their own flaws. They are not like, they don't have to be the purest of them all. They don't have to be the most correct of them all. And that's what the beauty of man or a woman.
Yeah.
It is in that. But men being wrong have been celebrated enough.
Yeah,
I don't think women doing anything which is a little away
Out of
from the
line.
ordinary or
Yeah.
expectations is not celebrated enough. Do you agree as women?
No, absolutely. I just want to add to that one thing of women turning producer or me turning producer. It's a very simple thing that if you don't get the table you're looking for, you have to create your own table. And that's what it is. And like Kajol said, create your opportunities and create opportunities for others, other women out there, because we have some incredibly good stories that we want to tell.
Yeah.
And we want to tell it with freedom. We want to tell it with no censorship of how a woman should be, which brings me to your next question of, my female characters being flawed and flawsome. So, yes, they are flawed because they are humans, just like men. And I was asked a question that what is it that you do differently to write your female characters? And I told them that I write them like humans. That's all I do.
Equally.
Equal humans who have every right to make mistakes and, rectify them. You may like them, you dislike them, but they're humans. They're not prototypes. They're not a fantasy. They're not a male fantasy of a perfect woman.
Yeah,
and that's
true.
what's changed. Because, storytelling was happening from a male's perspective for the longest time. As an audience and as a maker, I felt that, the female characters have been a fantasy of a male mind. Perfect daughter, bubbly fiance,
True.
sexy, and that meter one has to follow. And that mold is breaking now. And hence, flawsome is flourishing.
Absolutely.
So true.
But growing up, I have always loved you for the choices that you made. And I think today is much easier for women to take a strong choice or make us, like, their voices are more heard. You made your voice heard in situations among people when people tried to curb down women at large. I've always said this, that you've always been very brave and boisterous. So much so that I'm pretty sure that back in the day, there were many judgments and labels attached to you as well, right?
Fortunately, we didn't have social media. I didn't hear them.
I
So
swear.
But actually, she's
The
done
magazine
the
journalism
mold.
was there. It was also vicious at that point.
Yeah, but at least it wasn't there on a daily, day-to-day basis. I mean,
On
it
a
came out
second
once a month.
basis.
It came out once a month, and you were okay with that. I'm honestly barely ever read them, and you looked at a cover, saw if there was anything very interesting, who was sleeping with whom, and that was it. So that was the end of it. I mean, like, you knew better gossip also by the end of it. So yeah, it was much easier to hear your own voice, brave your own voice, and to follow your own path, I would say, than it is today.
But I want to ask all three of you that you feel that a lot of your voice is also because of your surrounding, and that surrounding being consisting of men and women at large, whoever you have interacted with, been with, in your life, your mom, dad, your family members, who have at least allowed you to be the way you are. Like, your mom has again been a rule breaker and a great game changer for everybody, right?
Absolutely. I think for me, at least, I've had very, very strong and very, very supportive people around me.
Yeah.
So my mom, my dad, I would say after my kids were born, my mother-in-law, my husband, my sister. So everybody was really, really like, whether it was obvious to society or not, whether they thought that I was making that decision or not. The point is that I was definitely supported by all the people around me and told me, do what you think is best. If you don't want to work, don't work. But if you want to work, don't let anything stop you.
Yeah.
And really, whatever your choices are, I'm like, a lot of people ask me that, would you go home? Like, Kriti is asking me that, do you go home and do you discuss the films with Ajay? What does he say about it? And I was like, no, we don't discuss movies. If I want to do a film, I will do a film because I want to do the film or I don't want to do the film. I may tell him afterwards, oh, I've decided to do this film and I really like the script and yeah, I've decided to do this film or whatever. And likewise for him. So it's something, it's a place for you to, develop on your own, make your own decisions and grow at the speed that you want to grow at.
True. But I'll come to you. When you speak about Ajay sir in that, how has he reacted to you telling him that you're playing a cop?
He's like, again? Don't wash our dirty linen in public, please.
Good one.
No, of course. I feel like my surrounding, my parents, just the values and what I saw at home, like I always feel like what you see at home, how you grow up, that shapes a lot of your personality and your thinking. So I feel like today the kind of values I have and what I think, I feel like I have a right to be equal to my male counterpart is also because I saw my mom and dad share all responsibilities at home equally. And I saw my mother also working. I saw my, mother also taking part in decisions as much as my dad did. And they have really, really been supportive of everything that I wanted to do. There was so much that my mom couldn't do in her life, what she wanted to learn certain things, or she was the first woman in her family to start working and earning a paycheck, that was not normal back then. So because she took a step forward and broke some barriers, I feel like that for me was normal, So I never considered that as a barrier I had to break. I had to go forward.
Yeah.
So it definitely shapes up your whole thinking and your personality.
Yeah. Happy birthday to
Mom.
Thank
you.
Oh, happy birthday.
Belated, but yeah, thank
Yesterday?
you. Yesterday, yeah.
No, so absolutely, you're right. I've grown up with very strong women. My mother was a professor, and she would guide. She was a professor in a girls' college, and I would see lots of students come to her for guidance. And she used to tell each one of them, as she used to tell me and my sister, that in your question you use the word allow. So her main thing was that nobody should be in a position to allow you anything. You make your choices, and then you either reap the benefit or suffer the consequences, but the choice has to be yours.
Yeah.
So that is something that both me and my sister have lived by. My sister is also breaking our glass ceiling. She's in the corporate sector, the youngest member on Unilever board. So I've seen very strong women around me breaking a lot of barriers. So it does kind of give you that inspiration. It does kind of, give you
Make
that.
it a norm.
Yeah, make it a norm. It's something that, kind of goes in your DNA. And I'm very grateful for that.
Growing up, when you idolize women, whoever the woman is in your life, I feel you have an amazing mix of, this is my personal opinion, you have an amazing mix of strength and emotions and sensitivity. And these are two very basic needs to be a good human being, is what I believe. But coming to all of you, I remember this, that when you were trying to become a producer, before that you'd said that there were occasions in my life where I felt like I have not been treated equally as my male counterpart. As a female producer, and I know this for a fact, what measures did you take to make sure that everybody on your set feels happy, equal, and safe?
To be honest, I think maybe the fact that it was women running the show in general, I never felt ki zarurat bhi thi kuch check karne ki. It was just there. I don't think there was any difference in the kind of artists or whatever, or male, female, to matlab dur ki baat hai.
But I'll tell you, she's right. I'll tell you, because there were two female producers. There's one girl who was a junior in the production team. She came up to me and she said that, ma'am, she had some concern that she shared, and she said I could come up and share it with you because I know it's you and Kriti ma'am who are leading this. And immediately one responded to it, and the fact that there are women who are leading this
of power.
and in positions of powers automatically gives strength, support, and gives that feeling of safety.
So whether you do anything or you don't do anything,
Yes.
as long as just the fact that you're standing there and you
Yes.
are a woman speaks a lot.
Yeah.
Also,
There's
you
a lot.
allow certain
Yes.
things, and you put a foot down on certain things. Simple stuff, like I feel like, for example, on many sets I've seen that the first AD, who usually is a male, a guy, at times can be the responsibility is such that you can be rude, or
Yeah.
you can be loud, or you can, just put down someone else, or just be like rude to someone, which I feel I've always observed. So for me, it was very important ki ye nahi hona chahiye. So I think that those little things, I think whenever we saw something, we kept it in check.
Yeah.
But in general, I feel like equality, regardless of gender, is a basic.
That's feminism
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
best, right? Coming to you, it has always been like whenever we meet, we are like, why aren't you doing more films? Why aren't you doing more films? How difficult was it to convince her? And what was it about this film that made you say yes almost instantly? I heard a story, so I want the audience to know that story. How did this happen?
Convincing is her thing.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
tell you the story, so which I've
The
spoken
editing.
about. Yeah, so firstly, extremely excited, going to give this narration to Kajol, and she came and we started the narration, and then she took out her knitting needles, and I was like, I don't know, like if she's getting bored, or am I supposed to stop or whatever. She said, continue. It helps me focus, concentrate. So I thought it was very endearing. I got a little hill out, but it was very endearing, and I continued. And the best thing I have to tell you, after hearing the script, she said, oh wow, I really like it. Who's written it? I love
But
that.
she did approach me as the producer. I mean, so I assumed that I was meeting the producer and the director. So, I was like, so I just came out of my mouth. I was like, who's written it?
So
The producer gave a very good narration, I must say.
Yeah.
The googlies are coming fast, and then I was waiting for that moment of what will she say? But I must tell you, Kajol, in today's day and age also, it's so difficult to have such a transparent, immediate reaction from actors, because they think, they mull, they take so many decisions, there's so much insecurity about so many things. It's so refreshing. I'm sorry I'm using the word again, but so refreshing that you instantly connect to the character and you are very clear you want to do it or not, and you don't get that.
That's true.
And that was something amazing that I felt after I left that meeting.
My first conversation in Bombay after I came in 2014, my first conversation with you was for a book, and that time you were working with Shah Rukh sir. I have become a
Bombay
journalist
Duck is
because
a
I
fish.
wanted to interview and meet Shah Rukh sir.
Wow.
And I remember I was doing an interview with you for a brand. It was a children's brand. It was a diaper brand, whatever you were endorsing. And you were almost gonna do Dilwale. It was not announced. She was gonna be in Dilwale. It was not announced. And I remember those first few conversations. I want to tell you this. When I went to interview you, for me, that time I genuinely went in as a fan because I have loved. It was like a dream come true. And everybody around me in my office, they were like, listen, you can't be like this in front of her. She will not like it. And if she doesn't, she's very moved. But you were the nicest to me. You were one of the sweetest to me. And it is true that people say that if you like somebody, it is evident. If you don't like somebody, it is also evident. You're that transparent. She's the funniest on set. Please tell me what's the funniest thing that you have done on this set? Because your promotions during Dilwale were a riot together. So I want to know what are the funniest things that you've done on this set.
What are the funniest things?
Have we
What have
done
we done?
anything funny?
We've not done anything funny.
Really?
We've not
We
done
have just
anything.
looked at her and laughed. Because the one-liners that she'll give,
Chocolate
the reactions
boy.
that she'll
All
give.
funny.
I mean, it's actually entertaining to watch her, I think. No?
Shut up.
There you go.
As actors and human beings, do you feel like today being authentic to yourself is not celebrated as much? Like you have to always be careful about what you're saying, what you're doing, because there's paparazzi everywhere, and there's trolling. There's a lot of negativity which is being celebrated, amplified to a huge extent, especially on social media.
It's my pet
Yes,
hate.
question, yeah.
Yes, definitely. I think that it is becoming more and more difficult to be authentic and to be real. On the one hand, they celebrate it every time you say something honest on social media, and at the same time, if you're having a bad day and you tell somebody to move out of the way, they're like, "Oh my God, it's gone viral," and she's being rude, she's being mean, she's being this, she's being that. So yes, it is definitely a dichotomy on social media itself, I would say. And I think people are divided on that very firmly. They want to see it also, and at the same time, they're abusing it also.
I think negativity just sells faster, and I feel if with this whole social media police, I feel you have to sort of restrain yourselves and not just be your absolute authentic self. But I would just say in that still, whatever you can maintain and keep it real, that's what's important.
यार my thing is like she said, negativity sells. Troll तो होना ही है. ये करो या वो करो. Try
Might as
करो
well make
ऐसे
it more
रखने का.
interesting.
Yeah, troll तो होना है. Might as well, live it and be you and do you and get trolled.
That's
You know.
absolutely true. And to
And
that
block
power.
everyone.
And I want to tell you guys that more power to all of you, because I think that there'll be more to this breed because of what you guys are doing. And I hope that there are more and more people who will come and support you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Milky Mist Premium Ice Cream.